First opened in 1965, Fuji Speedway has undergone numerous reconfigurations to get to its current layout. The fifth and most recent design, authored by internationally recognized Herman Tilke, clocks in at 2.835 miles and features 16 turns. Its front stretch responsible for nearly a mile of that length, forcing drivers to push for top speed coming out of the final corner, Panasonic, before diving into turn one. Since 1967, Fuji Speedway has been a frequent host of prominent endurance races, starting with the Fuji 1000 that year and evolving into the Fuji 6 Hour in 2012. The track hosted its first Japanese Grand Prix in 1976, and the event returned in 1977, 2007, and 2008. The track has also been a longtime staple of the Japanese National GT and Formula Series calendars, and its application has been so diverse that it even played host to cycling in the 2020 Summer Olympics. Tonight, it's the PFR Sports Car Series round number 5, and it's next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Fuji Speedway, the virtual Fuji Speedway that is. I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV, bringing you tonight's PFR Sports Car Series Round 5 from Fuji. Taking a look at some race information for tonight. 69-degree ambient temperature, 50% humidity. It's going to be a good one here tonight. Partly cloudy skies, 9-mile-per-hour breeze. Depending on which way that breeze is blowing, it may help or hurt you down that main straightaway. But qualifying already underway here at Fuji. Let's go down and see where everyone's stacking up. Let's go trackside, cover the action. Chris Gennarelli on the racetrack for now. Terry Crouch, Flo Doms, two fast drivers in practice. We'll have to see where they end up landing in the session. Gennarelli's lap, a minute 27.046. First driver to take a time in LMP2. Now it's Flo Doms, a minute 26.691. Daniel Clark in GT, 9 seconds shy of that. Flo Dom still in the throttle here. They got 3 laps to get it done. Check on GT, Elliott Hellier, certainly going to be a favorite. Hellier goes P1, minute 35.220. Josh Heggie just shy, within the same second at least, about a half-tenth shy. 5/10, half-second shy. Terry Crouch goes top of the board in LMP2, to no one's surprise, a minute 26.096. Curious to see if he's going to be able to knock it down to a minute 25. Crouch about to cross the stripe. See what he gets. Not faster. Minute 26:10. No, it was a little bit quicker. Close enough that it didn't change much in the standings. Unless he had an off track, maybe it didn't give him the official time. One more attempt, though. Again, 3 laps to set the field for each driver. Not a group qualifying session. Done that in the past. It's doable, but we had pretty large fields to start the season. It was quite congested. This makes it easy. It's just man versus machine, machine versus the track. Flo Dom's about 3.5 tenths slower in his qualifying attempt. Checking on Dave Seats in the Mercedes. Third quick so far. Seats across the stripe, a minute 35.90. His best lap thus far. Travis Stevens running 11th so far in qualifying in his BMW. His best time at the moment, a minute 37.051. Kevin Blue says in the stream chat, Terry better watch out, I'm coming for him. Last I heard, Kevin Blue wasn't even going to race tonight, so I don't know if he's just playing games. I don't know. We'll see. Ryan Flanagan has shown some pace over the last couple of races. He's currently 4th in the standings as far as the qualifying session goes. A minute 27.41. He's got work to do. It's on his second lap, it looks to be. Yep, that is the case. Depending on where he lands here, he may take another lap. Again, we're talking a 9-second differential in lap time from LMP2 to GT3. That's a pretty significant delta. You're going to see it here a lot. Down in the braking zone into turn 1, how late the LMP2 is going to be able to get on those brakes as compared to a GT car. If you don't time it just right, you could hit that apex just as that slower GT starts to turn in. You don't want to have that happen. It can end your day early. Flanagan goes a little wide. Don't know if he got the off track there. Back through turn 9, then it's a hard right-hand turn 10, Dunlop corner. Right about here, hard on the brakes. Not much of a slowdown, though, for the LMP2. Really impressive how quickly they take that corner. Guess you could call turns 12 and 13 the stadium section. Corner, turn 14. Again, running the chicaneless layout here at Fuji tonight. Jesse Redding on the track in GT as well. He's also in a Mercedes. About 5 minutes. In the session. Jesse's just got to get a couple of laps in here. And Jesse has lost connection, it appears. Session is still live, but Jesse's nowhere to be found. So we'll check on Oleg Vorotnik. He's on the LMP2 category. The Ukrainian colors on board. It's a good-looking car, I gotta say. Oleg's first lap, a minute 29.965. That's actually his best lap. His second lap was a minute 29.97. See if he can improve here on his third and final lap of the session. Gets on it a little too hard on exit. Around she goes. That's going to waste that lap. Looks like Jesse Redding is back. That's a plus. Still don't know that Jesse's gotten a full lap in with that big disconnect. Very well could have negated his lap times. iRacing systems don't really appreciate you losing connection for too long. In fact, it's just starting his lap now. It shows he's taken 3 laps in qualifying already. I don't think he's going to get one in here, unfortunately. Tough break. I don't know if it's just over the internet as a whole, because I had some issues getting set up here early on as well with big-time frame drops with the network, and I got to be honest, I haven't had any problems like that in months. Quick reset seems to be okay, at least on my end. Obviously, Jesse Redding still having some issues, but we'll see if it gives him credit for this lap. Jesse, the last GT car on the track. Sean Roberts on the speedway as well in LMP2. He's 4th quick for now. Minute 27.058. Andrew Locke, however, also an LMP2 driver, did not take a time in qualifying. Curious as to why. Terry Crouch into Stream Chat says, great job as always. I don't even know what I did yet, but we appreciate it. Thanks for the pat on the back, Terry. Hope you have a good solid run here tonight. Really would like to see you and your teammate go to battle here once in a while, but it seems you're always at opposite ends of the field. Redding back to the main straight. About a minute to go as Jesse crosses the start-finish line. Does he get a time? He does not. Again, that could have been negated for off tracks. At least he's getting some laps in. I don't know if he even made the practice session. Sometimes work may get in the way. That does happen. So just about a minute left here. We're going to jump out and get a quick break, and we'll be back after this. Back at Fuji Speedway, let's take a look at our starting grid for round number 5 from Fuji Speedway. On the pole with a lap time of 1 minute, 26 seconds, .096. It's Terry Crouch. Outside front row, just about 3.5 tenths shy, 3 1/4 tenths that is, Flo Doms. Row number 2, Chris Generelli starts third. Sean Roberts will roll from the 4th position. Ryan Flanagan starts in the 5th spot. Gabriel Crozier will start from P6. Starting 7th, that's Ryan Flanagan. Chris Pio, that is. Ryan Flanagan's 5th. We already talked about him. Chris Pio is 7th. Kevin Blue starts 8th. James Kolobali is 9th. Brandon Domain starts 10th. Oleg Vorotnik 11th. And last in LMP2, it's Andrew Locke. On the pole position in GT, it's the driver from TLD or SimSport, Elliot Hellier. Josh Heggie is going to start to his outside, starting 3rd. Rob Campbell 4th. Dave Seats. Daniel Clark will start 5th. 6th goes to Mike Hamlin. Brian Zinn 7th. 8th. Mike Piazza 9th. Travis Stevens 10th. Rob Henry 11th. Nick Matthews 12th. Joe Tucker 13th. Drew Prale. Nick Batista 14th. 15th. Dalton Powell 16th. And last on the grid, Jesse Redding in the Mercedes. It's your starting grid here from Fuji. Field starting to roll already. As we get ready for a green flag. It's coming up quick. Terry Crouch will receive an EOL for his win penalty. So will Dave Seats. Field working turn 14. Going to get the green right away here. An LMP2 staggered start from GT. They're working the final corner as well. Pace vehicle off the speedway. You can just see how long this main straightaway is, almost a mile.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag in the air, LMP2 cars up to speed. GT not too far behind, hope they get through one cleanly. Low Dobbs down into turn 1, he's got no problems to be concerned with. GT field through turn 1 as well. Looks to be clean for all involved. You got a clean start. Battle for the lead already in GT. Elliot Hellier, Rob Campbell. Hellier in the BMW, Campbell in the Porsche. Remember, cold tires, folks. Got to get these things up to temperature before you really want to start pushing. Flo Dom's out to a good start. Second place, Sean Roberts, Chris Gennarelli in 3rd. Roberts up 2 spots already. And Crozier in trouble. Gabriel Crozier, perpendicular to race traffic, not a good place to be. He's going to have to kind of sit tight. Cars going behind and in front. He's just going to have to wait this one out. There he is. Does have some damage. Another passing car in behind. Already a lap complete. Field working off the final corner down the main straightaway. Let's try and get a look, see what happened here. Looks like Terry Crouch and Andrew Locke may have had an issue at the start as well. We'll start with Terry, and he had to go to the back. Oh, this is just him going to the back, so we'll ignore that one. Andrew Locke, let's see what happens here. Coming to the green flag, it's that black, red, and gray number 23, the LMP2. Looks more like everybody just kind of stacked up on the restart. Nothing serious there. Oleg Vorotnik with an issue on the track as well. Let's see what happens here. And then we'll go to the Crozier incident as well. Oh, looks like, Andrew Locke. Look at that one again here. Slow it down just a bit. Andrew Locke is the machine just ahead of Oleg here, and you'll see what happens is it looks like the car in front of Andrew checks up a little bit sooner than Andrew was anticipating. And he gets the left sides in the grass just a bit, almost loses the car. He's avoiding contact with the 20 that's in front of him. That's Brandon Domain, but unfortunately, nowhere for Oleg to go. He gets into the 23, sends himself around. Gabriel Crozier, here's the incident we saw just a moment ago, at least the tail end of it. Got in real hot. Left side's in the grass for him as well. Again, cold tires, we talked about it. Oh, he gets pretty significant contact with the Armco. Can't park there. And then after the fact, looks like Mike Hamlin had an issue on the track. Let's see here. This is in GT. Limitless Motorsports Mercedes. BMW was inside. I don't know if he knows it. They're 3 wide. The outside car definitely did not know that was the case. Almost guarantee that. Minimal damage or contact for Hamlin, but there you have it. Flo Dom still out front. Sean Roberts still in the second spot in LMP2. Elliot Hellier still your race leader in GT. Rob Campbell in second in the Porsche, not too far away, within striking distance. Oh, Campbell with an issue. He's off the track and noses it into the Armco. Let's get another look at that, see what happened with Campbell. Almost looks like he got the left sides in the grass as well. Check it from the blimp, see how it looks. Yeah, left side's over the curb, in the grass, just sends the car around and nothing you can do. You can hit the brakes all you want. It's not gonna do a whole lot in the grass. So that gives up the second spot. We talked about how Rob Campbell was close enough to strike there, but not the case any longer. Elliot Hellier still the race leader, but now Josh Heggie into the second spot in the Ferrari. About 2.3 seconds in the rears in GT. Checking on Terry Crouch and his progress through this. Remember, he had to go to the back on the start. Already up into the 5th position. He's got 6 seconds to make up on Flo Doms, and he's really cut into that in only 5 minutes of this 1-hour event. Very impressive. Andrew Lockaway's back in the 6th spot, but he's still in this. He had a pretty eventful first lap. Last lap for Terry Crouch was 1:26.94. It was only about a 10th off the leader's time, Flo Doms, but he's going to have to be faster than that. Again, him and Flo are so close on pace at all these racetracks. Flo is about 3/10 slower in qualifying, but that's just 1 lap. Or 3 if you want to count all 3. They don't necessarily average them, but Terry's going to have to cut into that pretty quick here and do it all race long if he's going to contend for this win. Mike Hamlin off the racetrack. Second incident of the day for the Mercedes already. 7 minutes in. Oh, he's backing up. Got to watch that relative. Hamlin rejoins the race. Let's see what happened here with Hamlin just a moment ago. Yeah, he gets the right sides in the grass. These cars do not handle well, at least off of pavement. You can see even at slow speeds, he was locking them up, trying to get it to move and trying to get it to stop. I don't know if it just rained here early this morning. It is early in the morning here at Fuji. Jesse Redding has also had an incident on the track. Let's see what happens here with the 21. Oh, some close quarters battle here with the LMP2. Oh, looks like Jesse just loses it. LMP2 collects him. It's tough to find the balance at this place. Again, we talked about it in the open, how you want to have the race car trimmed out the best that you can to maximize that full 1 mile of straightaway speed. Looks like Drew Prale is off the racetrack. The car that makes you hungry. Let's take a look, see what happened with Drew. Already an issue here. Let's back it up a little further as it just goes to the off track. He's starting to lose it on exit. Locks her down. And there you have it. Pretty eventful start to this race. We're only 8.5, 9 minutes into this. No fireworks just yet from Kevin Blue, though. He runs in the 8th spot. I don't know if you heard me there. Kevin Blue with the Rich DPC sponsorship on that LMP2. Of course, Rich DPC, the primary sponsor of the PFR Sports Car Series. Back out front, Flo Dom still enjoying a healthy margin of a lead, 5 seconds back to Sean Roberts. Sean Roberts dealing with some lap GT traffic as well. Back to GT, it's no surprise. Elliott Hellier still with the race lead. Josh Hagee about 5.7 seconds back. And we've got an early taker in the pit lane. It's Sean Roberts. Roberts pits from the 2nd spot. He's going to move Terry Crouch up into the top 3. Chris Generelli now 2nd. Flo Dom still the race leader. Can't imagine he's going to take fuel here, or tires here. It's only 12 minutes in. He's just topping off the tanks. I wonder if he's just kind of working the pit cycle backwards here. I don't know that that's going to be helpful, though. He's on a pit lane right now. All this is really going to do, I think, really depends on how quickly he starts to catch the tail end of the GT field, but it may mire him back in some GT traffic, which in essence is going to hurt his overall pace lap after lap. He does have some distance between himself and that last place machine in 15th in GT. He's in turn 3, coming to 4 right now. The final car in GT is just getting into that right-hand turn 10. Tires are still hot, so he'll have clear sails and some fast laps to throw down for a little while. We'll see if it pays off. His best lap of the day is a minute 27.27. It's about half a second off the best lap of our race leader, Flo Doms. His best lap, a minute 26.73. However, it's not faster than Terry Crouch's best. Terry Crouch, a minute 26.61, and he's moved himself up into the second spot. Let's go back and take a look at the pass for the second spot. Oh, looks like Generelli might have made a mistake. Catching it kind of late. Let's back this up a little, see exactly what happened. If he got in his head a bit. Generelli in the 19, well, we drove it in way deep. Early apex means a wide exit, gets on the curb. Terry has to avoid, but he's going to take the spot. So we've gone 10 laps in 14 minutes. Terry Crouch has gone from the back up into P2. But he's still got 9.8 seconds to make up on Flo Doms, even if he's faster. Flo Doms claims that Terry Crouch is the quicker driver. I don't know if I buy it. I know he's been on the pole position a lot this season. But I'd say they're pretty close to equal. With that said, Terry's going to have a lot of work to do if he's going to reel in Flo Doms or hope for a mistake out of the 13 machine. Terry Crouch inside of the slower GT machine. It's Mike Piazza switching to Porsche now, no longer running the Audi. This really has, on the GT side, become a German spec series with the exception of one Ferrari. Everything else is Porsche, Audi, BMW, Mercedes, and one Ferrari. Italians are outnumbered. So 15 minutes in here, we're going to take our first HBR TV side-by-side break. Going to take it a little early here, trying to get this one out of the way before green flag stops. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Fuji Speedway, 14 laps in, approaching the 20-minute mark. Flo Doms still your race leader. 10.4 seconds ahead of teammate Terry Crouch. That deficit is widening between the two. Pit stop still to come. Sean Roberts, the only LMP to take the opportunity to hit pit lane for fuel. Again, I got to imagine he's trying to work this one backwards. Andrew Locke still charging forward. He's up into the 5th spot. Checking on Sean Roberts, again, making his pit stop early on heavier fuel right now compared to the rest of the LMP cars. Oh, almost fouled the Audi, and he locks him up. The Audi and Nick Matthews goes wide, and I don't know if Sean was trying to just follow the back bumper of that car, though it is slower by comparison. Audi goes wide. Sean Roberts has to correct. He doesn't hit anything, but still locks up those tires. Checking on Oleg Vorotnik again. He's running in the 11th spot. Remember, he had troubles on the start. Chris Pyle in the 6th position. Chris started 7th today. He's got Kevin Blue breathing down his neck, though. We'll see how long, if at all, he can get around Chris Pyle. GT traffic for both of these drivers. Kevin Blue goes to the inside into turn 1 as well. Getting an indication Andrew Locke has had an issue on the racetrack. I'm not sure if it was major or minor. I'm going to go with minor just for the fact that the car looks pretty good. Might be coming into pit lane, though. He is. A little bit of left side damage I'm seeing as we get a little bit closer. Locks him up, coming to a slow pit road speed. We'll go back in a minute here. We'll see what happens. I believe they have a fast repair to burn. Yeah, you see it on the left side body work. Some damage to that machine. Quick repair takes care of it. Fuel going in this LMP2, and maybe he's going to jump out. Andrew Locke has seemingly left the session. James Coulibaly in the pits. Also a fast repair used. Well, let's take a look at it, see what happens here. It looks like Joe Tucker possibly involved in this with Andrew. Tucker in a GT, the BMW. Loses it on exit. Backs way offline, so he's not in the way. So coincidental incidents here, not related to each other. Let's see exactly what happened here with Andrew Locke. Andrew side by side with Flanagan. They split the GT car. Great move there. Doesn't pay off. Flanagan almost lost it. And I'm still not sure where the damage on Andrew's machine came from. Oh, here we go. Well, maybe not. Doesn't get into him, but Campbell had his own issues. Pit stops wrapping up. Terry Crouch leaves pit lane. Flo Doms has got his done. Chris Generelli just leaving the box. Ryan Flanagan up on the jacks. He's going to put tires on here. Kevin Blue getting a little less mileage with the wheels spinning. And Kevin Blue rejoins the fray. So Chris Pio, currently your new race leader. He has yet to hit pit lane, so he's going to have to make a stop here soon. Just the question is when. If he can go an extra 3.5 minutes here, he might be able to do this on one stop, but I just don't see that happening. Got Oleg Vorotnik in the pit lane as well. Yeah, and here he comes. Chris Pio slowing down, entering pit lane. So on this strategy, unless he's early, he's going to have to make one very short and quick stop before this one is over. So as Pio pits, Flo Doms retakes the top spot. Now, it's interesting how this is cycled through. Sean Roberts, remember, he made his pit stop from the second spot, and it was, if I remember correctly, it was only lap 8. Might have been 10 minutes in at that, something along those lines. Took fuel only. So he's going to be able to stay out here a little bit longer, but Flo Doms, he waited to take his pit stop to about lap 17. He's still out in front. It just shows you the pace that Doms has. Roberts still needing to make one more pit stop at a minimum. I don't know if he can do it on just 2 at that shortest stop. But then again, you look at Chris Pio coming down for his first stop of the night, 27.5 minutes in. It's going to be close. Checking on GT leader once again, it's still Elliott Hellier. No one's surprised to that. He's got a lot of pace in that BMW. 15.5 second advantage over second place running Josh Heggie in the Ferrari, the only Ferrari in the field, maintaining that second spot. Dave Seitz, who had to go to the back at the start in GT, he runs in the 3rd position now. Won't be too long. We're going to actually have a battle here, it looks like, for the 2nd position. Dave Seitz is really closed in on that Ferrari. Won't be long. Remember, Dave had to start at the rear for this race got underway here, so he's got some pace. He's working his way up. Last lap for Seats, 1:36.36, almost a full 0.2 quicker than the Ferrari. Both drivers made their pit stop at about lap 15, so they're on equal footing as far as tires and fuel are concerned. Checking on the LMP2 cars again, Sean Roberts still in that second spot, but Terry Crouch is just chewing into that gap lap after lap. Remember, Terry did make his pit stop recently. It was a lap 17, same as most of the other LMP2 cars, at least within a lap plus or minus. Roberts the only one on an alternative strategy, pit at lap 8. A lot of bumps in through that turn 10 complex. They take it at such high speed. See off in the near distance, Terry Crouch getting bigger and bigger. Terry's cut about half of that deficit down in just the last lap or so. It was 1.3. Now it's about 6.5 tenths. Roberts getting through some GT traffic. We'll see where Terry catches him. It's that big bump in turn 10. Thinks better of it. Gonna lose a little ground here. Terry is aggressively patient, I guess is the words that I'll use to describe how he gets through GT traffic. You don't want to push the issue, but you don't want to wait too long, and he kind of balances those out very nicely. He does lose some ground here. I don't think it'll take too long for him to make it back up, because Roberts is going to have to dig through the same traffic. All a matter of where you catch that traffic. Watching that battle for the second spot. Dave Seats has recently taken over P2 in GT. Taking that from Josh Heggie in the Ferrari. Let's see if we can find that. In fact, here it is. From the blimp. Just gets alongside, outbrakes him on the entry, gets the power down, starts to pull away. Dave Seats now up into the second spot. Winner from last week, Elliott Hellier, still the race leader. He's got 18 plus seconds on the Mercedes. Once again, a dominant performance. Any word Travis Stevens may have crashed? Let's take a look, see what happened here. Stevens in the BMW. He's had a go of it here today. He's been around a couple of times. It's a tough corner. We've seen a lot of guys have that same type of issue in the middle of that corner. Failing to get down to the apex properly, get it woed up, maybe getting back to the power too soon. To me, that seemed more like too much rear brake on entry, but could be wrong. Either way, he goes around, tries to regroup. So Terry Crouch, as we had said, he did lose some ground in GT traffic, but it wouldn't be too long before he ate that gap back up. Now you see it. He's less than 0.6 of a second off the rear diffuser of Sean Roberts. And now he's right there. Roberts having trouble getting around Travis Stevens. Almost contact between Crouch and Roberts there. Sean had to get on the brakes more than I think Terry had expected. Almost got into him. Through the final corner, we'll see if Terry can pull a slipstream here, use the draft down this big straightaway. Terry pulls out to pass, takes a look. Nothing doing just there. Roberts was able to use a little bit of the draft off the BMW, but he overdrives turn one, and Crouch takes the spot. Meanwhile, while we're watching that battle, looks like Ryan Flanagan may have had an issue on the track as well. Let's see what happened here. Same corner. You see all those skid marks right there. Everybody having trouble, whether it's an LMP2 or a GT car. Doesn't seem to make a difference. Guys are having some struggles in that corner. That would be turn 13 specifically, that those guys are having their issues. Slow speed, lots of input in the wheel. It's not a whole lot of downforce either. Kevin Blue had an issue on the track. Let's see what happened here. Doesn't say that he crashed, but it looks like a crash to me. So similar to many drivers we've seen do this. We've seen it twice in an opening lap. Kevin Blue gets a piece of the Armco, and looks like his day is done. Says Oleg has had an issue as well. Let's see what happened here. Tough racetrack for these guys. Not used to seeing so many incidents on the racetrack, but we've certainly had them today. Again, just a slow spin, same corner again. I'll tell you, it does certainly seem like that grass is wet though. Very difficult to get the car out of there. Chris Pyle running in the 5th spot. Brandon Domain runs 8th. Brandon's up 2 positions from qualifying. Sean Roberts has finally made his pit stop at lap 25. Got about 21 minutes left in this race. I don't know if he's going to make it all the way to the end. We're going to find out, because it still seems that that should be his final stop of the race, but will it be? Even with the strategy, I don't think he's going to have enough to take over the top spot at the end of this race, because I don't know, it's going to be close. We'll see how it plays out. He's the only one on this strategy. It seemed to work in that first pit stop, at least as far as getting him into that top three. He was with the race lead for a brief moment. He made his pit stop, his first stop. Flo Doms had already had the lead at that point, so I don't know. We'll see how it pans out. I think he's still in good shape for a solid finish if things work out okay. Matthews flashing his brights at Sean Roberts, not really sure why. James Coulibaly in the 6th position in LMP. Brian Zinn, we haven't talked about much in the BMW. He's running 4th in GT. Chris Pio, 5th in LMP. Chris getting through some GT traffic as well. Rob Campbell just leaving the pit lane. Remember, Rob was up in that 2nd position early on in this race, and unfortunately for him, went off track, got into the Armco, lost a ton of track position, had to burn that fast repair early on. Sticking with it, though. He's running 9th in the GT category. Just completed his final pit stop, I believe his final pit stop. Josh Heggie in the Ferrari, he's in the pits as well. He's still in the pit lane here, waiting on fuel, I believe. He's got the tire change done. Unless he got a speeding penalty, that's possible. Didn't get the pit road limiter set in time. That could be the case. This is going to hurt here. He came in 4th. Oh, man, Heggie's still in the pits. This is going to be a long stop. One minute, 1 second. That's got to be a pit road speeding violation. Should have been about a 21-second stop. He gets dinged another 40 seconds with the penalty. Tough break. Hellier still with the race lead. Flo Dom still your LMP2 category leader by 16 seconds over teammate Terry Crouch. Nick Batista in trouble. Minor trouble. Trouble nonetheless. Let's see what happened here with the Mercedes just a moment ago. And there we go again. It's the dreaded turn 13. It's probably the 5th or 6th incident we've seen in this corner. Nick back in the power. So Josh Heggie back at it. Remember, he came in, it was 4th while he sat in the pit lane, comes out 10th. So taking a look at our top 3 in GT, of course, it still is Elliott Hellier. Dave Seats again in the 2nd spot. Brian Zinn up into the top 3. Again, we haven't talked a ton about him today, but finds himself in position for a podium for the time being. Meanwhile, though, Dave Seats in the pits. Likely to be his final stop of the afternoon, or the morning in this case, here at Fuji Speedway. Fuel only for the Mercedes, 11.07 seconds in the box. He leaves without incident. And with that, we're going to jump out, take our final HBR TV side-by-side break. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Fuji Speedway, just over 10 minutes remain here for Flo Doms to lock in another victory here on the season. Some pit stops still underway. GT cars pitting with LMP cars. That makes things tricky. James Coulibaly leaving the pit lane just behind the BMW of Elliott Hellier. Just completing his pit stop. Remains the race leader in GT. Brian Zinn, Mike Piazza also in the pits. Zinn up into the second spot. Dave Seats slips back to fourth, it looks like. Yeah, P4 for Dave Seats for the time being. I don't know if he had an issue in his pit stop. His pit stop was lap 27, though, so I'm not sure. Seats actually cycles back through. Mike Piazza leaving the pits as well in the Porsche. Rob Henry just leaving his pit box. Short stop, 10.08 seconds for Rob Henry. Dave Seats likely going to settle for the second position here with about 9 minutes remaining. Hellier with a significant advantage, 28 seconds over P2. Would take a significant issue for race leader in the BMW for Dave Seats to come home with the checkered flag here. Brian Zinn, though, not too far behind, under 2 seconds the gap from second to third. We'll see if Zinn's got enough to reel in that Mercedes. Meanwhile, we do have some LMP2 cars in the pit lane. Chris Generelli from P3, Ryan Flanagan in fourth as well. Seconds, 15 seconds for Generelli. He's down and away, 16.9. Flanagan finally gets to his pit box. 9 seconds on the clock, 10 seconds, and he's down and away. Very short stop for Flanagan. And race leader Flo Doms in the pits. His final stop of the day. This is where we're going to see how Sean Roberts and his strategy is going to cycle him through. Made his final pit stop on lap 25. Here we are 11 laps later, race leader Flo Doms in the pits. I'm going to assume here this is going to be fuel only, no Michelin tires. The TLDR Simsport driver Flo Doms stays on the ground, fuel only, fires it up, drops the clutch and goes. 9-second stop for Doms. Terry Crouch can follow him in as well. Got to expect kind of the same idea here, fuel only for the 59. 9.67 seconds for Terry Crouch. Now, Sean Roberts, he is just approaching the final corner, turn 14. He's got an 8.5 second advantage over fourth place running Chris Pio. If he can maintain that, he's going to find himself on the podium with this strategy. Now, with all that said, that's if and only if he does not need to make one more stop in the next 6.5 minutes. Oleg Vorotnek in the pits as well. Oleg running 9th in class. Not indicative of the day he could have had. Again, first lap had a problem. 10.17 seconds in the pits for Oleg. Battle for second has shaped up in a little bit of contact with Brian Zinn and Dave Seats. Dave's got to find some speed here if he's going to maintain that second spot, because Zinn is shot out of a cannon all of a sudden. Both drivers with pretty equal pit stops as far as the time is concerned. Fuel only for both drivers. They're both on equal footing as far as tires are concerned. Zinn looks to the inside, slides the nose a bit. This is the battle to watch. Zinn goes to the inside, through the final corner, and he slides up into seats. Just like that, Zinn was going for it, had time. He didn't need to be that aggressive. Lost the back of the car, slid up into the Mercedes, then spun the rest of the way. Late race drama here at Fuji. Let's take a look at it. We watched it happen live. Let's see how it looked from the air. And this was getting down to turn 14. Drove it in deep, but got too hard on the brakes and just slid up. And if you really look close at it, let's try it again here. If you look closely at it, the spin that he started into this corner, he's almost, I mean, he saves it based on just the contact with the Mercedes, but then he straightens it out and goes across the nose of Dave Seats, spins him the other way off the racetrack. He's lucky not to get into the barriers here. Keeps it out of the gravel and continues on, but I think his chase for the second spot of the podium is up in smoke. Well, he's not all is lost for Brian Zinn. He's lost that opportunity for P2. But he still sits there in the third spot. Didn't lose the position that he had, just lots of track position. He's just going to have to hold off Mike Piazza in this Porsche. Piazza's going to have to do something with this Mercedes here quickly and start trying to reel in Brian. I don't know how much damage the BMW has sustained in that incident, but we'll see what can happen here. We may see a battle between these two before it's over. 3.5 minutes to go. Flo Dom's your race leader in LMP. Terry Crouch is second. Sean Roberts in the third spot. He's got a 10-second advantage over fourth place Chris Generelli. Ryan Flanagan fifth. Piazza about 1.5 seconds off the back bumper of Brian Zinn, but that deficit's growing a little bit each corner. Well, Mike gained some ground, picked up a 10th. Flo Dom's in the picture here, working his way through GT traffic once again. Just like that, though, he's right there. Brian Zinn could be in trouble. Mike Piazza has closed the gap considerably. I don't know if that was just due to the LMP trying to sneak its way through, but that gap went from 1.4 down to less than 0.5 seconds here as they back to the main straightaway. The LMP squeaks in the middle there. I don't know what that's all about. How much draft are you really going to get? Well, either way, no harm, no foul. James Coulibaly tucked in behind Brian Zinn there for just a brief moment, trying to pick up as much slipstream as he possibly could. I don't know how much of an advantage he really gained. He might have scrubbed most of it off, turning in and turning back out. We still watch this battle for the third spot between Brian Zinn and Mike Piazza. Piazza in the Porsche, Zinn just ahead in that red BMW. Under a minute to go. Don't know that Flo has gotten the white flag just yet, but we are quickly approaching the 60-minute mark. It's into turn 11, 12, the car off the track behind. I think that might be Drew Prowl. Can smell the chicken. Flow up into that final turn 14, 20 seconds on the clock. 15 seconds. Does he get to the stripe before 60? He does. Still in the gas. White flag in the air. Final lap for Flo Doms. Elliott Hellier exiting the Dunlop corner, turn 10 into 11, then 12. He will also take the white flag his next pass by. We'll check back in again. Brian's in. Now he's got a car in between himself and the Porsche of Mike Piazza, at least for the time being. Zinn able to pull out some distance between himself and the Porsche, just over a second for the time being. Flo Doms for his final time down into turn 10. Cuts across the nose of Dave Seats. It was close. One more left, one more right for Flo Doms. Out through Panasonic corner, back to the pit straight. Checkered flag waves. Flo Doms is going to win it. Elliott Hellier now in through turn 6 and 7. Zinn doing a good job staying ahead of Piazza. He's put 2.1 seconds on him now. Hellier through the final couple corners, 12, 13. Then once again, Panasonic corner. Hellier across the stripe, takes the checkered flag. Hellier, your winner in GT3. Dave Seats is going to work his way through the last couple of corners. He'll finish in the second spot. Brian Zinn still ahead of Mike Piazza. Not by a ton. One more right-hander for Zinn, and he can stop worrying about that rear view mirror. Made a mistake chasing down Dave Seats, manages to hang on to the third position. So with that race over, we're going to jump out and get a break out of the way. We'll be back with our winners after this. Stay with us.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
back at Fuji Speedway, round 5 of the PFR Sports Car Series. It's in the books. Flo Doms takes the checkered flag in LMP2. Let's see if we can pull Flo into the broadcast booth and get a word with our race winner in LMP2. Flo Doms, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got us?
Yep, loud and clear.
Flo, congratulations, man. You had a lot of pace out there. Terry put it on pole, had to go to the back. You start out in the front row. You inherit, I guess, that top spot. And just pure pace from start to finish, man. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, I had an issue in qualifying where I locked up the rears into turn 1, so I was a bit hesitant the first few laps of the race. But I settled in well. But after like 10 laps or so, I saw Terry being in P2 already, and I was a bit afraid that I would lose that win here tonight.
Well, you certainly didn't have a whole lot of challengers to be concerned with. I think you and Terry were effectively on the same strategy, even though he was starting at the back. I know you're worried about turn 1, just given the high speed and heavy braking and the change of direction there, but we've seen a lot of guys get caught out in turn 13 through nets, that second to last left-hander before getting out of that final corner Panasonic. How was the car feeling for you through that last left-hander?
Not great. I had to be very careful there, and which I managed in practice less so. So I was, quite happy with the pace and the result.
Well, all in all, you take the checkered flag, so that's a sign of a good afternoon or a good morning here at Fuji Speedway. We roll into Daytona International next week. Everybody's favorite. Lots of guys, even the inexperienced ones, have a lot of laps around that place. How do you feel about your odds next week, starting in the back at Daytona?
It's a good track to start from the back, I think. I don't like Daytona that much, especially in the LMP2. I think I mentioned that before. I just don't like that car on low downforce trim.
Well, either way, we wish you the best of luck. I'm sure you'll still have a good run next week. Congratulations on the race win here at Fuji. Flo, who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
All my boys at TLDR and you, Steve.
All right, Flo. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week.
Cheers.
It's Flo Doms, your race winner in LMP2. Next up, it's going to be TLDR Hellier. I guess we'll call him. It's Elliot Hellier, that is. We'll pull him up into the broadcast booth here at HBR TV. Elliot, it's Steve in the booth. You got us?
Loud and clear, my friend.
All right, Elliot, congratulations once again. A TLDR sweep between the two classes. I think it's start to finish for both of you guys. You led every lap, I think. Walk us through the race. What's the key to this place? It seems to be kind of your forte.
Nice and smooth, definitely, especially as the temperatures began to rise and the tyres began to go off. I chose not to take tyres in this one, which was maybe, I definitely did start to regret towards the end of it. But definitely being smooth is so important here. There's so many long sweeping bends and so many places to trail brake that require, quite precise steering. There's so much time to be made and so much time to lose around here as well.
With that said, this place is a very intricate, very detailed racetrack. We talked to Flo about that final left-hander at the end of the lap, just before Panasonic. So a lot of guys getting caught out there, not just in LMP, but also in GT. If you had any advice for anybody else in the race, what's a great way to get around that corner without just turning it sideways? Saw probably 5 or 6 guys unable to make it clean through that corner.
Setting yourself up on the corner before it, definitely. Getting yourself on the curb on the left-hand side. I know it's a bit of a dodgy curb, but you need to kind of be riding it, and a lift before the curb ends. Brake in a straight line for your slowing down braking, and then once you are trailing into the corner, you want to reduce the steering angle. It seems that as it goes uphill and as it's cambered to the left, I assume a lot of people were spinning. You start to lose the rear grip, so if you reduce the steering angle and let the camber of the corner turn you in, I think that's probably my biggest piece of advice.
Well, that was the detailed response I didn't expect, but I'm glad we got it. Elliot, thank you for that. Moving on to next week, we're out at Daytona International Speedway, as I said to Flo. Even the guys with limited road racing experience probably have some laps around Daytona Road Course. How do you feel about your chances next week going to the back?
I think it's a tough one to. Daytona's always a tough one to call, to be honest. Because of the slipstream, it can be one of those places that either you make up a lot of positions by people getting caught out by the low downforce and by being behind other people, or it's a track that becomes incredibly frustrating to drive because you might be quicker on the infield, but without being silly, there's nowhere really to pass anybody. So it can become quite frustrating, but I'm relatively confident that I'll be able to find my way to sort of near the front. But we'll see. It's a bit of a dice roll, Daytona, to be honest.
Well, Elliot, we're certainly looking forward to it. We're gonna let you get out of here, man. Who do you want to shout out to?
Same as always. It's got to be my boys at TLDR again. My girlfriend, for letting me race at stupid o'clock in the morning, and you guys for putting on the production. It's really cool. Thanks so much for letting me race in this series. It seems like a very kind of US based series. So to let an Englishman in, it's very, very kind of you. Thank you very much.
Well, if you're willing to stay up in the wee hours of the morning to race with us, we're happy to have you 100%. We're glad you're here. I hope you stick around for quite some time. But thanks for talking to us, Elliot, and good luck next week.
Thanks, mate. Have a good one.
You too. It's Elliot Hellier, and man, I could listen to him talk about how to get through XYZ corner at any racetrack in the world all day long. I'm really happy he was able to really break down that final left-hander, that turn 13 through nets. We saw a lot of guys have issues there today. I'm glad he was able to help break it down for the guys. I mean, we're not going there next week, but hopefully some guys are taking some notes and they're going to sit here and practice that a little bit, try to get through that corner a little better. Maybe not necessarily to gain a whole lot of time, but maybe just not to lose a ton of time. So that was cool to hear. But with that, let's take a look at our official race results on the evening, afternoon, morning, day, whatever you want to call it. It was morning at the racetrack. We started bright and early. Your race winner in LMP2, Flo Doms, of course. Second was Terry Crouch. Where did it go? There it is. Sean Roberts brought it home with a podium finish with his strategy call. Chris Generelli was fourth. Ryan Flanagan fifth. James Koulibaly was sixth. Chris Pio seventh. Brandon Domain was 8th. Oleg Vorotnik was 9th. Kevin Blue finishes in the 10th position. 11th place finisher was Andrew Locke. 12th, Gabriel Crozier. He was out of this one very, very early. Let's check on GT3's results. Of course, Elliot Hellier we just spoke with. Dave Seats brought it home in the second spot after contact with Brian Zinn with about 5 minutes to go. Zinn still hangs on to a podium finish in third. Mike Piazza was fourth. Rob Campbell fifth. Nick Matthews finishes in the 6th position. Daniel Clark was 7th. Rob Henry finishes out in the 8th spot. Josh Heggie 9th after a pit road speeding violation. Cost him about 40 seconds on the racetrack. Shaping up to have a much better finish than he had. Tough break. See if he can rectify that next week. 10th was Travis Stevens. 11th place finisher. If I can get her to work here. Does this every week. Drew Prell was 11th, Nick Batista 12th, Joe Tucker 13th, Jesse Redding was 14th, Mike Hamlin finishes in the 15th spot, and last but not least, in GT was Dalton Powell rounding out in the 16th position. Got to thank all of you guys for tuning in and watching tonight's race. It's a fun series, road course racing. It's the only one I get to do every week. You know, it's not always door slamming and constant action lap after lap, but if you appreciate road racing, you know there's a lot of strategy involved, and it's still a fun one to watch. We appreciate you guys being here, going back and rewatching, and if you are ever looking at the stream, live or after the fact, on YouTube, please hit that like button. It really does help the broadcast platform quite a bit, gets the stream in front of some new eyes. Whether it's drivers, viewers, it helps us, it helps the league. It's a good thing all around. So with that, I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV, congratulating Flo Doms in LMP2 and Elliot Hellier in GT3 for their race wins. We'll see you guys next week at Daytona. Have a good night.